A small group of people from the northern region quickly became a dominating force controlling the capital. A rebel group from a small country dealt a bitter blow to the Arab League. A Muslim organization ready to challenge even the United States openly attacked the Red Sea region. No one else but the Houthi rebels in Yemen could achieve such feats. With a blend of Islamic fervor and solid support from Iran, the Houthi rebels became formidable warriors, fearless of the sky or the earth. The world media spent ink on stories of the Houthi rebels stirring up turmoil in Yemen's key battleground, shaking the foundations of many major economies. So, who are the Houthi rebels, and why have they gained such immense power? Let's explore and analyze the world's stories together. This time, it's the tale of the Houthi rebels. The Houthi rebels, a mysterious and dangerous Islamic group, also known as the Supporters of God, emerged in the internal conflict in Yemen nearly a decade ago. Formed in the 1990s by Hussein Badreddin al-Houthi, a member of the Zaydi minority community in Yemen, which constitutes about one-third of the country's population. The roots of the conflict trace back to the 1960s when a Zaydi leader was overthrown by another Zaydi faction that had long ruled Yemen. Since then, the Zaydis lost political power and faced further marginalization when Salafist ideologies surged across the border from Saudi Arabia into Yemen. In the 1980s, Hussein seized the opportunity to restore power and resist extremism in Yemen. He initiated a religious revival movement called the Faithful Youth and militarized his Zaydi followers. The movement gained notoriety, posing a threat to then-President Ali Abdullah Saleh. Tensions escalated in 2003 when Saleh supported the U.S. invasion of Iraq, sparking widespread opposition in Yemen. Exploiting this, al-Houthi organized anti-government protests, gaining support from disillusioned Yemenis fed up with corruption and repression. After months of chaos, government forces eliminated al-Houthi in September 2004. Despite his death, the movement persisted and armed factions grew stronger. The Yemeni president accused the Houthi and other Islamic opposition groups of attempting to overthrow the government and establish a theocratic system. The Houthi leaders claimed they were merely defending themselves against discrimination and government attacks on their community. Furthermore, they portrayed themselves as a national resistance force against chaos, corruption, and extremism, representing the marginalized tribal groups. Their stance against Israel, the US, and Jews became a hallmark, emphasizing that they viewed the US and Israeli governments as their top enemies. The Houthi rebels clarified that they didn't seek violence against anyone, but would resist external interference in Yemen's internal affairs. Their primary goal was to fight for the desires of all Yemeni people: transparent governance, stable prices, employment opportunities, and protection from Western influences. Why did the Houthi rebels become the terror of their enemies? After 21 years of President Saleh's rule, Yemenis were fed up with economic hardships and the corrupt, enduring regime. In December 2010, a young vegetable vendor's self-immolation triggered powerful protests in Tunisia, sparking the Arab Spring. Yemen joined the wave of protests, with chants and poems about revolution echoing under ancient architectural arches. However, the atmosphere changed, replaced by screams and, suddenly, airstrikes by the coalition forces. Over 10,000 people took to the streets in Sana'a, the capital, demanding democracy, opposing corruption, and the oppressive regime of President Saleh. Saleh had to resign, handing over power to Abdrabban Mansur Hadi. Nevertheless, the anger persisted, plunging Yemen into civil war. The people hoped for more than a power transition; they wished for a successful spring, like in Tunisia. Yet, what they received was pain, bloodshed, unemployment, and continued poverty. The conflict led to a famine affecting 17 million people, along with unsafe drinking water due to depleted water reserves and destroyed infrastructure.
نؤكد لشعبنا العزيز ولأحرار الأمة العربية والإسلامية جهوديتنا لخوض معركة الفتح الموعود والجهاد المقدس مع أمريكا وإسرائيل.
دورة التدريب الوحداتي في دقتها وسرعتها وفاعليتها التدميرية الكبيرة، ونحن نخوض حربا ليس.
Amid political and security vacuums during the people's despair, the Houthi rebels' uprising in the northern highlands became the last stronghold for many Yemenis. Those shattered dreams during the Arab Spring had found support in the Houthi rebels, turning their movement from a lone uprising into a struggle for independence that resonated strongly with the masses. This support proved pivotal, leading to a temporary and painful failure of the Yemeni government. The real conflict erupted when a group of warriors decided to attack the Yemeni capital, forcing the interim president to flee to a neighboring Arab country in early 2015. Simultaneously, Saudi Arabian leader bin Salman sent troops directly into the Yemeni civil war, with support from the United Arab Emirates in the Gulf. However, by this point, all these financial efforts could not eliminate the guerrilla warfare of the Houthi rebels. Backed by widespread support from the Yemeni people and aided by another revolutionary nation, Iran, the Houthi rebels developed rapidly in both quantity and quality.